Hello everyone, this is Sanjana and welcome back to another exciting vlog in the life of Vlogadoodle. Before we properly step into this one, I just want to say if you've ever thought Arkansas is boring, you probably haven't experienced it in the right way yet. Hot Springs surprised me in the most unexpected ways. It's one of those places that quietly hold history, nature, charm, all in one frame. If you're wondering what to do in Hot Springs, I'd generally suggest you starting with the experiences we've had in our previous vlogs. The first one is definitely the Christmas lights display at Garvan Woodland Gardens. It's magical during the holiday season and honestly worth planning a trip around. And then there is the hauntingly beautiful Anthony Chapel, a glass and wooden chapel tucked inside the forest that feels both peaceful and dramatic at the same time. And if you're someone like me who finds comfort in walking through the trees and listening to our own footsteps on a trail, Hot Springs has covered that too. There are several moderate and easy trails accessible almost all year round around Hot Springs. We hiked one during winter, and even though everything was dry, it still had its own kind of quiet beauty. If you want a detailed info on the best seasons and what to expect on the trails, definitely check out the second video in the series. I know it's going to be so helpful for you because you need to understand that Hot Springs isn't loud about what it offers. It doesn't scream for attention, but once you slow down and actually explore it, you realize it has character, history, warmth, literally, and a very unique charm that stays with you. After our hike at Lake Catherine, we were headed towards the Hot Springs city. By then, our legs were slightly tired, shoes dusty, but there was something about finishing a hike that makes you feel so productive, like you earned the next part of the day. I'm sure you understand, just like a runner's high, a hiker's high is so real, you guys. Since it was already late in the afternoon and our energy levels were clearly dropping, we thought this was not the moment to act fancy. We pulled into a Burger King drive-thru, ordered the crunchiest sandwich on the menu, and parked the car somewhere quiet. And honestly, that itself turned into a 5-star dining setup. I mean, it cannot get better than this. There's something so underrated about eating a hot, crispy sandwich inside a slightly cold car, windows a little foggy, jacket still on, hands slightly cold but holding warm food. We just sat there, no rush, no proper table, no aesthetic plating, just pure hunger meeting pure satisfaction, and it was messy, crunchy, but completely worth it. And when we were full, we started once again, and this time to the city. To be very real with you, driving into Hot Springs after spending the morning in the woods felt like entering a very different world altogether, buzzing with lights, people, and life. The streets were active but not chaotic. There was a steady hum, people walking in jackets, hands tucked into pockets, families stopping to read signboards, couples taking photos in front of historic buildings. It wasn't loud, but it wasn't sleepy either. It felt alive in a very calm way, and the weather, by the time we reached late afternoon, it was around 40 degrees and dropping steadily.
আমরা এখন আবার সিটিতে চলে এসেছি ডাউনটাউন অ্যান্ড আমার অলরেডি উইন্টার ক্লোথস পরে নিয়েছি আমি, বাট there are other people who are actually walking around t-shirts. So different people, different cold tolerance. But আমি জমে গেছি.
Even though there were people in literal t-shirts, for me it was cold enough for my breath to show in the air. Cold enough to make me pull my puff jacket a little more tighter, which makes the concept of Hot Springs even more fascinating. Our first stop was the Fordyce Bathhouse Museum, and I have to say, this place deserves time. I mean, who would have thought a bathhouse museum can be interesting? Come on! Well, my friends, if you're a history nerd, you are in for a treat. From the outside, it looks grand and historic, as big as it can get. The classic architecture, tall windows, that vintage American spa town aesthetic. But once you walk inside, it truly feels like you've stepped into another era. Now for the history buffs. The Fordyce Bathhouse was built in the early 1900s and is now preserved as a museum. It used to be one of the most luxurious bathhouses on Bathhouse Row. Walking through it, you don't just see rooms, you see stories. The ceilings are high, the tiles are detailed, the woodwork is beautiful. Everything feels intentional. We started from the highest floor upstairs. There were exhibits showing old photographs, equipments, uniforms worn by staff, and even vintage workout rooms. There was also one-of-a-kind gym that had all the old equipments, real macho type stuff. Kinda honestly surprised me. Old school exercise machines that looked intense even by today's standards. As we moved through the bathhouse, we saw separate parlors designed for men and women where they could groom themselves after their baths. Parts of the floor were filled with wooden changing rooms and personal locker rooms for customers. The museum has thoughtfully placed life-size figures under sheets and on treatment tables, recreating scenes of what a typical day might have looked like. It gives you this slightly eerie but immersive feeling as if you're quietly walking through someone else's reality. There were separate changing rooms on different floors, reinforcing how structured and gender segregated this experience was. And of course, there are whispers of hauntings associated with this building, stories that add mystery to this place. We didn't stay long enough to test those rumors, but the atmosphere definitely carries a certain weight. You might think this was a little over the top, but the thermal waters themselves were believed to have powerful healing properties. People actually came from far away hoping to cure ailments like chronic pain, sciatica, and even diseases like syphilis. While modern medicine might view those claims with skepticism, it shows just how deeply people trusted the natural hot springs at the time. The near boiling water flowing directly from the springs must have felt miraculous in an era with limited medical advancements. At the same time, there's a more difficult part of this history. During segregation, Black and Indigenous communities were not allowed to access these bathhouses freely. While wealthy white visitors came for therapeutic treatment, people of color were only restricted to serving roles and denied equal access to the very waters that were promoted as healing and restorative. It's a reminder that even spaces built around wellness and health were shaped by the social inequalities of their time. The lower levels also has actual bathing areas, but it's not as premium as the upper ones. The museum does a very good job explaining the medical theories, the rise of spa culture, the boom of hot springs as a health destination. You can almost imagine the routine people followed. Doctors prescribing baths, attendants preparing water, guests arriving in their formal clothing ready for treatment. Must have been quite an experience. What I appreciated the most about this museum is that it doesn't rush you. You walk at your own pace, you read, observe, and you think. For me, this wasn't just sightseeing, it felt educational, cultural even, a reminder of how cities evolve. Also, this museum has a basement, not like the scary ones they show in movies. Okay, maybe a little scary, but in a fascinating way. When you go down there, you actually get to see the mechanical heart of this place. Massive pipes run along the ceilings and the walls, and this is where the near boiling thermal water from the springs was pumped and distributed to the different floors above. Seeing those huge industrial pipes up close really puts things into perspective, because this wasn't just a spa. It was an engineering operation designed carefully to control and channel extremely hot natural spring water into baths and treatment rooms. Standing there surrounded by concrete walls and heavy metal fixtures, you realize how advanced and ambitious this whole setup was for its time. It adds another layer to this experience. Not just luxury and relaxation upstairs, but serious infrastructure working behind the scenes. This city, Hot Springs, wasn't just random. It became famous because of these waters, because of people who built infrastructure around something so natural. And to stand there in 40-degree weather knowing that beneath the ground, the thermal water is naturally heated to very, very high temperatures, that contrast is just mind-boggling. It's just so wild. Finally done with the museum, you come outside and you walk along the bathhouse row. There are fountains where you can actually touch the hot spring water. Steam rising into cold winter air, your fingers almost startled by how warm it is. Sometimes it's so hot that children can actually burn their skin. It's unbelievable. Cold air, boiling hot water, same street. That moment alone is such a unique American travel experience. Also, look how beautiful this mistletoe tree is. This is my first time seeing one. I used to think this was like a made-up American thing, but I guess this is real. What a find! And if this isn't what I think it is, then you can write it in the comments below what it actually is. By the time we stepped out, evening had begun to settle in, and the cold somehow felt sharper than before. We walked towards one of the nearby hot spring fountains, and you could literally see vapor rising from the water. I could not resist dipping my hand in to check the temperature, and honestly, it was unbelievable. On one side, I was shivering from the cold, and the other, there was steam rising from naturally heated water right in front of me, and the contrast alone made the experience feel surreal. That's just hot water oozing out from the ground. From there, we made our way to the bandstand, a small historic open-air structure that once hosted live performances and community gatherings. It sits slightly elevated, so we climbed up the steps and took a moment to look over the city below. The view, especially as the light began to fade, was quiet and grounding. One of the most unexpected moments came when we realized our water bottles were empty. Without overthinking it, we filled them up from the warm spring fountains. We came across these fountains at every block on the sidewalk, and it seems there's hot water flowing 24/7. It felt unusual at first, but also strangely fitting, especially after learning about the long-held belief in the healing properties of these waters. As the evening settled in, the streets grew livelier. We decided to spend a little more time in the area. More people started walking around, and one by one, the shop's lights also came on. There was a gentle buzz in the air, as if the city wasn't quite ready to let go of the holiday season just yet. We eventually stopped at a large building that housed a mix of different shops. Everything from an escape room and retail stores to a perfume shop, a few restaurants, and a quiet, slightly tucked away coffee shop. It felt like the perfect time to take a break, so we stepped into the cafe and placed our order. I don't know about you, but there's something inherently comforting about small cafes. The warm lighting, the subtle aroma of freshly brewed coffee, the quiet hum of a space that invites you to slow down, it felt so peaceful. And it had this cozy, lived-in charm, like a place where you could easily spend hours reading a book, browsing through little trinkets, and simply sit by the window, watch the world go by. But now we were kind of running out of time, so we ordered our coffee to go and we did not stay long. As soon as our drinks were ready, we stepped out back into the cold. Holding that warm cup of coffee while walking through the chilly streets just felt right in that moment. But we did not linger for long. We still had to visit 2 more places before calling it a day. So our next stop is the Superior Bathhouse. Now this one is interesting because it's actually the only brewery located inside a bathhouse on Bathhouse Road. And what makes it even cooler is that they use the hot spring water to brew their beer. The interior keeps the historic feel but mixes it with the modern brewery atmosphere. Big tanks, wooden tables, relaxed crowd, and also a cute pretzel stand. They also had a lot of variety, different styles, seasonal options, and yes, they were also giving out free bottles along with the beers, which I'll admit was my main motivation for stopping in. But beyond that, it was just a fun way to see how the city has adapted. One bathhouse becomes a museum, another becomes a brewery. History but repurposed. After that, we were onto the streets again. Since it was getting really late, we were now on a mission. Souvenirs. We looked at a few shops that were open at this time of the night. We walked, and we walked some more. It felt like a small scavenger hunt. I mean, I know it was New Year's Eve energy, but the energy was very subtle. No loud celebrations, just people enjoying themselves, and then the crowd started getting scattered. Eventually, we found the biggest shop still open and went inside, and honestly, I'm glad we did. We found the cutest souvenirs for our friends, thoughtful little pieces that felt so local that made the extra walking worth it. There were so many small handcrafted items, little Arkansas themed magnets and delicate trinkets that had a slightly little rustic small town charm. We picked up a few quirky keepsakes, cute decorative pieces, and even a couple of things that felt a little bit more personal. What I really liked was that nothing felt overly commercialized. Each piece had a bit of character, almost like it carried a story from the place itself. After all the shenanigans, it was finally dinner time. We went to a Mediterranean place called The Goat, and honestly, I think it lived up to its name. I hardly clicked any videos here because we were just so tired and the meal was so good. The warm, flavorful, comforting meal after such a long day, it was just heaven. And we were full. Believe me, I really had to take a breather after that. I was done. It's 9:30 p.m. now, which means it's time to head back. Since it was New Year's Eve, we had already decided we are cutting a cake at midnight. So one last stop at Kroger, walked in, slightly tired, picked out the cake and drove straight home after that. Back at the lake house, we started the fire and sat there for some time. As soon as it hit midnight, we cut the cake. No loud party, just us talking, and we could barely hear the fireworks. But it was a treat nonetheless. And after 3 days of travel, hiking, museums, walking, exploring, this just felt right. Simple, intentional. That finally wraps up our Arkansas trip. If you've enjoyed this series, let me know which part was your favorite. Thank you for watching. Hope you liked this video. Don't forget to tune in to my next adventure. And oh yes, please like, comment, share and subscribe to Vlogadoodle. Until next time, keep exploring. Bye.